Hey baby, we are doing a bathroom today. Basically, after this tutorial, I'm gonna give you homework, and once you do that homework, you're pretty much good to go. That tutorial should basically teach you everything in the bathroom. It shouldn't take too long, so grab a drink and let's go. Let me do this. Boom. Okay, let me close this. Every project we open SketchUp. That's the first thing we do, and that's what we see. We see the welcome view, and then we press plan view, and it opens up this. I'm gonna click ignore here at the bottom, and obviously with the mouse scroll thing, if you click on it, you can orbit. If you shift and click, you can do this, like on drag. So I'll show you how we use those once I'm in the bathroom. But let's jump right into it. Okay, so I'm gonna basically make up dimensions from my brain of like a basic bathroom. Let me see. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is choose the line tool, which is this pencil over here. You can also click L on the keyboard. So if you click L, it's gonna take you to the line tool. We're gonna start with the exterior walls, obviously, and you're gonna see how I do stuff. So I click in the middle, and then I can basically choose wherever I want to go, whether I want to go with this axis or with the red axis, or with the yellow axis. So the yellow axis is where I like to start. We're gonna choose the basic dimensions of 10 feet. So if you see at the bottom of the screen, next to the watch, there is a length that basically shows the feet and the basic dimensions of that length of that line. So if we zoom a little bit closer to the line, we can kind of get the dimensions more in details. But what I like to do is, let's say I know the dimensions of that wall, I basically type on the keyboard 10 feet, and you can see at the bottom right of the corner it types the 10 feet that I wanted, and then I just add the sign of the feet and I click enter, and then it basically gives me the 10 feet wall that I wanted. So a 10 feet wall, and then I can click escape at the keyboard to basically let that line loose. So exit the keyboard, and then I can basically jump from any point that I want to create another wall. But what I like to do is kind of create the floor. So I'll show you how you do that. So that wall is 10 feet. Basically the shower wall is gonna be, let's say 5 feet. So I type 5 feet. You can see it's also changing here at the bottom right. So if I'll put my mouse on the red axis and I'll type 5 feet, I should get a wall. And this is another wall. So you can see when I move my mouse over here, the line becomes yellow, and then the line becomes blue. The blue axis goes down. The yellow axis basically goes with the same line as that. So if it makes sense, once you see the yellow axis, you can basically leave the mouse there, let your hands go, and then you click another 10 feet because the other wall is 10 feet. And then we have another wall of the bathroom. Okay, and from there we can basically click here, and then it's gonna give us the shape of the floor. Not that crazy hard, It's gonna take you a little time to control the axis. Sometimes you're gonna do a line basically that you're gonna think that it's gonna be, let's say, on the yellow axis, and then when you type 10 feet, it's gonna look weird and gonna go down. So just make sure that whenever line you do, you type the proper dimensions, and then you're on the right axis. Then when you click, you get the floor of the bathroom. So from there, you can see that the floor is I'll say grayish. When we move this model to the rendering software, it's gonna give us some problems. So just remember, the first thing you do is to reverse the faces. is basically you click on the floor and then you right click on the mouse and then you hit reverse faces, and it's basically reversing the exterior of that floor. Alright, so to the next part is basically creating the walls, which is basically easy. You have the offset tool. You can also click, never mind, you don't need to click anything on the keyboard. You're gonna use it once probably in every project. So what this tool does is basically creating the walls. What you need to remember is that, well, 90% of the exterior walls are 4 inches. Is what I mean by that is if I'll click on my face over here and then I'll drag it out, you can see it kind of creates me a wall. And you can see at the bottom right of the corner again here, it shows me how deep that wall is. I want it to be 4 inches, so what I do is I type 4 in the keyboard and then inches. Instead of feet, I type inches and enter. And then I get 2 faces, which is the floor face and then the wall face. Now, what I mean by a wall is basically the next part. The push and pull button. You can press P in the keyboard and then click on either of the faces, and I believe you already worked on it with the sections over there, but it's basically making your faces go up or down, but we need to go up in order to create a wall. So we're gonna click once and let go in the mouth, and then we can basically make a wall, right? So if you can see again at the bottom right, the distance, we need that wall to be 8 feet high, because our ceiling is going to be about 8 feet. So this is the 8 feet that I was talking about. Now it looks a little small, it looks like a cube, you know, not a lot of room to work with, but it's good because our vanity is going to be roughly here, toilet is going to be roughly here, and then the shower is going to be roughly here. Okay, we're going to have a window and then shampoo box, but those things are easy. I'll show you how to do them in a second. Okay, once we have that, we need to basically put our door and our window. So the door is going to be a basic door. What I like to use a lot in SketchUp is the tape measure tool, is because it gives you, for example, if I click from this point to this point, you can see at the bottom right corner, it gives me the dimensions of that wall. Just so I can see where I want to face my door, just so it can be in the middle, in the center. So the shortcut to use that tape measure is T on your keyboard. Okay, so let's say I want to put a door on this wall, so I can first of all press space on the keyboard so you can select the proper face that you want to work on, and then for this practice we're going to use that wall. We're going to click the tape measure tool, so T on the keyboard, and what I like to do is basically when I put a door in the center, I want to make sure I take the proper feet from that side and the proper feet from that side, and you can see if I click on that side of the wall, I get a line that if I click, it's going to stay there, and then from that line I can create whatever I want, because you know it's not moving, and it gives me the right dimensions, let's say 8 inches from that side of the wall. And I'll show you how it works in a second. Now the tape measure tool, if you click on control once you're in it, you can see the icon in the center is changing, so to plus and minus to nothing. So make sure you have that plus and minus sign when you put those lines, because otherwise if you do that without the control, it kind of doesn't give you the line. Alright, so in order to put that door, we want to basically make like a 30-inch door. So we'll take a feet from that wall, maybe a feet and a half. Yeah, no, sorry, a feet and a half. A feet is good. Yeah, and in order to cancel, you just press Control Z, and it just deletes the whatever you did previously. So 1 feet again, and then we're gonna go to that side, and then we're gonna press 1 feet again, and then the height of that door from the floor is gonna be 7 feet. What we can do is either go from the floor and then type 7 feet, or we can go from the ceiling and type 1 feet, because the ceiling is 8 feet, and then it gives us a, oh, you can see I already fucked up. The axis was on the wrong, the measure was on the wrong face. So how can I delete it? I can either press the space button, click on it, and then press delete on the keyboard, or I can click the eraser tool and then erase. Alright, we're gonna go back to the tape measure, click on that face, make sure that the axis, the line of the tape measure, goes down and not up again. So you can see the line in the middle turns blue, and then you hit 1 bit, and then we have the measurements for the door. Now, how we create the door? We have that shape, that tool over here, which is a rectangular tool. You can also hit R in the keyboard, so from the tape measure to the rectangular tool, and then when you click on one point of the measurement and you go down, it creates the shape that we wanted. Okay, so we have a door, and in order to place a door, I'll show you how to do it soon, but first of all we need to make the entrance. So again, we're gonna go to the push and pull tool, and then what we can do, you can see we can move that door back and forth. So what I want you to do is click on that door and basically drag it back until the door is giving you like a limit that you cannot go past on, and click. And what it's going to create is going to create an entrance. We're going to place the door on that entrance in a second, but the next thing that I want to do is create a window. So again, in order to create a window, we need measurements again. So we won't do it too hard. I'll make sure it's not too hard for you. We're going to click on the face, so space, click on the face that we want, which is the window. I want it to be here, kind of inside our shower, click the tape measure tool, go up, and let's say we want our window height to be 6 feet. No, it's a little too high, so let's say 5 feet. So let's delete that and type 5 feet. And now the window size, I want it to be, let's say 1 feet, 0.5, and then we'll take 1.5 feet from each, 1 feet from each side to create the window. And then again, click the rectangular tool right there. You can also hit R in the keyboard and then make the shape. Click space, push and pull button, which is P on the keyboard, and then click until you get that magnet. So when this thing happens, is what I like to do is to click on it again, basically cancel what I did, click on the face again, and then go and click on the edge of the wall, because it's basically where the window is being basically cut. So we're gonna click on the edge of the top, and it's gonna give us the window. So again, in order to do that, you click on the window and you make sure that your crosshair is hitting that line of that window. It should be magnetic, so it should be pretty much straightforward. You click on it again, and then we have a window exit. Alright, so the next part is to put the window and the door, where basically 90% of our work is with the 3D warehouse. So the 3D warehouse is where we put the vanities, the toilets, all the the models. We need an internet connection for that, so make sure the laptop is connected to the internet, blah blah blah. And then we're gonna click Windows and then 3D warehouse. Now in 3D warehouse, again, you have a lots of shit. So whatever you're gonna look for, you're gonna find, whether it's a bed, You know, you're gonna find plenty of beds and whatever. So what we need is a window, where in our case is a shower window. So let's see what are options. You know, we kind of look over, you kind of see basically big models of people where we can copy paste stuff for our model, but it doesn't give us any shower window. So let's remove the shower and type window. Let's see what we can work with. Alright, that's something we can work with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on that icon over here, and it's gonna ask me to load this directly into your SketchUp model, and I'm gonna click yes, because that's what I want. Now it's gonna basically attach to my mouse that window that I was looking at. I want to place it next to my window. So first of all, just to make it easier on myself, I'm gonna just put it as close as I can to the window. Now obviously it's still big, not in the same size, blah blah blah. But we want to do is basically, first of all, move that window to be facing the other side. How we do that is basically we're gonna make sure that we are clicking on our window. We're gonna click on the icon, select, or space on the keyboard, click on the window. When it's selected and it's all bluish and nice, we click M on our keyboard. M is the moving tool. You can also have it here, moving tool. The moving tools lets you rotate stuff, lets you basically move them. The select tool is just to select. You cannot really move it, you know. But once you click on something, let's say the window, and you click M on your keyboard, which is the move button, you can kind of get more into detail with your particular model. So as you can see, if we're gonna face our mouse over the ceiling of that window, over the top, we're gonna get those, you know, thingies that let you rotate. Basically straightforward. Once you click on each side, you know, you can rotate. So yeah, so that's how it works. What we want to do is to rotate it to face that way, right? So we're gonna click once and let go, and then it's gonna let us rotate the window until we're gonna see the line basically magnet to the red line. So it's kind of here. You can see it doesn't let me go past that. So you're gonna feel it with your mouse on the software, and bam, it's all shaped. Now it's not in size, it's not in obviously any means ready, but what we're gonna do is move it again. So again, make sure you have it selected and make sure you're on the move button, and then we're gonna click on the corner of that window and basically move it to the corner of that window and kind of make it attached, and boom, obviously it's not in size, but what I like to do now is to resize it. So for that, we have the scale button, which lets you obviously resize stuff, big, small, wide, whatever. So we're gonna click on it. You can either press S on your keyboard, and it's gonna let you move it, and it's gonna make sure that your model is kinda movable, edit, scalable, whatever. So what we want to do is basically make sure that the window is aligned with that and aligned with that, because it's already kind of aligned with the bottom. So what we're gonna do is gonna click on the middle of the side, because if you're gonna click on any other side, it's gonna look funky. Click on the middle, and then it's gonna let you basically move it from right to left, and then you're gonna go again and magnet it to that face. So you can see it's kind of magnetic to it. Boom. And it's resized our window. Now we need to resize it from the top. We're gonna do the exact same thing from the middle of that face, going all the way down until we have it. And here we have a small window. Now what I like to do is make it a little bit in depth smaller, just so we can have it more natural look. So what I like to do is to click on that middle face and basically do this. You know, windows have those edges nowadays, makes it more realistic. That's like a pro tip for me. Alright, so now that we have the window, we're gonna have a door soon. Let's put our shower, the main thing. So now the shower pen, obviously my dad's bathroom is what I do mostly. You know, tubs are okay, but I don't do tubs a lot. So in order to create the shower pan, we need to basically locate where the shower is gonna be. So the shower is gonna be over in that side, obviously. Click on the floor, okay, and then take our tape measure tool. Now, the shower pan is usually 3 feet in length, so we can go 3 feet, which is you can either do it by your mouth or just click 3 feet, and boom, we have a dimension to the shower pan. Now don't forget that every shower pan, if it's not inserted in the floor, it has a step, right? A 4 inches step. So if you don't remember these, obviously it's gonna take you some two bathroom to remember the proper dimensions all the time, but it's basically common to every bathroom. The step is 4 inches. You know, shower pan, if they want it bigger, it's on them. If you can fit it bigger, that's on you as a designer too. All right, now that we have the dimensions for the floor, we can take the rectangular tool again to create our faces for the shower pan. So first we're gonna have the shape of the step, and then basically once doing the shape of the step, the software is already gonna divide us the rest of the faces. So the step, in order to make it actually a step, we need to take the push and pull tool, okay, and then type 4 inches, which is our step. But before we do that, let's Control Z that. Before we do that, I want to obviously separate the faces by colors. So the step is gonna be the same tile of this floor. So we're gonna go and click on our materials tab and then select tile. Now obviously it's not going to be the tile that we're going to use for the rendering, but this is just to divide the surfaces. So once we click on any material, it's basically going to change it to a bucket, but you can also click the paint bucket tool here. Alright, so let's make sure we pick the surface that we want. So let's paint the main floor, the main area of the floor, in one color, and then that color is gonna be on the step as well. And then inside the shower, I want to have a different tile. Now that we have them divided, that floor needs to be 1 inch from the ground. So let's type 1 inch, and then this needs to be push and pull button 4 inches from the ground. So 4 inches from the ground. Okay, and if you have any issues, just ask me if I'm home or call me. Okay, but I want to make sure that the software is comfortable to look at. So if you can see, you have the zoom in, zoom out button, whatever. I want you to click on the zoom button and then type 90 on your keyboard and press enter. It's gonna make the length of the lens, more wide and more easy to maneuver. So now that we have the shower floor, we want to basically make the tile on that shower. So again, for the tile measurements, we're gonna use the tape measure. The tape measure, you're gonna use it a lot, so it's the easiest thing, it's more comfortable. So yeah, again, click on the face and basically copy me, because you're gonna get the idea of what I do. What I do is basically want to make sure that I have tile on this wall and tile on that wall and tile on the window wall, and obviously the shampoo box we're gonna do in a second. Okay, alright, tape measure tool. What I did on that wall is basically went from here to here to make a dimension. I'm gonna do the same thing from that wall. So the tile wall ends in the center of the step. So luckily SketchUp is such a great software where we just go to the center of the step with our line. It's gonna basically mark it as the center of that step. Once we click on it, we get a line. Now, in order to make that wall separate, I need to select it, go to the line tool. Okay, the line tool is gonna let me separate the walls. I'm gonna go all across that measurement all the way to the bottom. If it's hard, I can zoom in and then click, and boom, our faces are separated on that wall. Now we need to do it on that wall. So again, line tool. Click. I can do it again from the bottom up instead of from the top to the bottom, and click. Okay. Now, in order to make it a little bit more realistic, usually tile has a little bit of depth. So like, I would say either a 0.2. So you click on the face that you want to pull from that wall, and push and pull again, and click once, and then drag it, and 0.2. Oh, phone call. 1 second. Hello? Okay, so as you can see, it gives us like a surface for that tile, because the tile goes, you know, is a little deep. So I want to cancel that first and basically put the tile on the wall. We can choose a different tile. Okay, so first of all, that's what we have. Obviously it looks disgusting here, but it's gonna be different. But if you want to make it easier on your eye, you can, I don't know, choose a tile that actually doesn't look that bad, like that. Okay, cool. I want to push and pull that face a little bit just to make the tile stick out a little bit. So 0.2, I'm going to press on the keyboard and press enter. I'm going to do the same thing here, 0.2, enter, and then it gives us the shower area. Bam. Okay, shampoo box. Shampoo box is going to be, let's say, you know what, let's do the shampoo box on that wall, just because that window is kind of low and we don't want to mess around with the window. So the shampoo box, well, the shower head is gonna be here. Shampoo box, we can maybe make a long one here. Okay, so what we can do for the shampoo box, obviously go with the dimension from that wall to see roughly where we want to place it. We can put it in the center of the shower pan, and then click from that dimension, click 5 inches, and then 5 inches, and then from the top, and then from the bottom we'll press 3.5 feet, and then we'll go 3 feet, we'll go 3. Oh, you know what, we're gonna actually match it with the window height. Now what you see is this weird measurements, right? But look, take the rectangular tool, press R on your keyboard, and just do this. What it's gonna give us is an option to do a shampoo box on that side. Now because the wall is 4 inches in deep, it gives us a very deep shampoo box. Now in order to make the shampoo box a little pop, we can take the bucket tool, and when you take the bucket tool and you press Alt on your keyboard, is next to the control, so you press Alt and you click on the surface, it's basically copying whatever material you have on that surface. So you can see the icon changes. You click here, and then you can basically paint wherever you want. Make sure you go to the select button to click the surface that you want to paint, which in our case is this, the back of that shampoo box. Click, and then it gives us a different shampoo box. Now we have a lot of measurements inside the bathroom, and I want to delete them, but I don't want to do it one by one. So in order to make them disappear, what we can do is go to the edit and then delete guides, and then it disappears from all the guides because we don't need them anymore because we have everything set. What we're gonna do now is save, and in this case I'll save on the desktop. In your case, save it wherever you need to save it, and then I'll press tutorial and save. Just make sure you save everything you do to not lose it. Alright, now we're gonna put the door, and this is basically gonna be part 1 for that video. It's like 30 minute long, and then the next part is gonna be to put the toilet, the glass door, the shower fixtures, you know, all the stuff that we need from 3D warehouse, other than the window and the door. We're gonna put the door, and then part 2 will be to put the vanity and everything. All right, so in order to put the door, we're gonna go to the window again, 3D warehouse, and type door. Now there's millions of doors. What I like to do is go to here and click popularity, and then gives you the most popular doors, the most common ones that people use. Let's choose something that looks alright. Let's choose that. Load this directly, and then you can see it loaded the door directly into me. And then sometimes the models you're gonna choose from 3D warehouse suck, so you're gonna load a product a model that looks good, but it's not gonna be easy to work with, or you're gonna have to dip it. So in our case, click escape and let's go find a different door, because you know, so you can choose whatever door that looks good to you. Don't mind me, because maybe in your 3D warehouse it's gonna show you some other options. So I like that door, I chose that door. Boom. Okay, I place it somewhere. Again, we need to rotate, so we're gonna go to the move tool and click on our face, move tool, and for some reason it doesn't let us move, which is a great thingy. Double click on the door, Control A, and make it a group, and then it's gonna let you rotate. And if you're having any issues with that part, which is a little tricky, just ask me and I'll help you out in real life, because this is something I want to show you in real life. Now we need to resize that door, which is a little tricky because the door is inside the wall. What we can do is obviously zoom in until we are inside the wall, but what we can also do is make sure the door is selected, press the the scale tool, and then you can kind of put your button over that wall, and it's gonna let you use that surface. So you click once, and then you can drag it too. You click once, you drag it all the way to that corner, and then you do the same thing from here. So you can see the exterior line, and then if you just move a little bit, you can find the other cube to scale the door. We're gonna scale the door, and we have a door. So we have a door, we have a window, and everything is happy. The next and last thing for that tutorial, I want you to paint the walls. So how are we gonna do that? We're gonna go to the select tool, click on that wall, and a little pro tip: you can click shift on your keyboard and keep clicking it, and then you can choose a couple shapes together, and then you can paint them with like one time, instead of doing one wall at a time, you can do them all together, because once you have a bigger house, you know, makes more sense. So let me cancel that, let me do it again. So I click once, and then I click shift and clicking, and then for our case we're gonna go in the material tab to the select the color and named. It's gonna be easier that way, and we're gonna choose some color that doesn't look too bad for now, the silver, and boom, we have the wall painted, we have the door installed, the window installed, and then basically we have the bathroom. We just need to put the vanity and the toilet and the mirrors and whatever. But hopefully this tutorial was helpful. If not, let me know and I can fix it and make a new one. But this is kind of get you the basic idea of how to do the model of the bathroom, which once you do 2 of those, it takes maybe 10 minutes to do. This tutorial is 30 minutes just because I explained stuff, and yeah, I like the shampoo box, and I'll show you how to put stuff in the shampoo box later. Obviously the shower fixtures, toilet, and yeah, love you, miss you, you're at work, I'm here doing tutorials like a motherfucker. Let me save that, even though I don't really need to. And yeah, love you.